What do you do during an off week like this?
Um, Regroup, take care of your body, reflect, and get ready for the next phase, the next few games, the back end of the season. Luckily for us, we have a lot of good opportunities against good opponents and teams to go out, finish strong, showcase our abilities, still put our name out there, still prove what kind of team we are and team we can be.
With everything that's happened this year, I mean, was this much needed just for even a mental break more than anything?
Um, I mean, yeah, it's a challenging game just by itself, but you add all the other adversity we face on top of it, and it makes it even harder. So it's good to get a break in the midst of the fire, to regroup, reflect, get your bodies right, get your mind right. Kind of calm down for a little bit, and then get back ready for it.
How difficult was that after the Sunday after the ODU game to flip to preparing for Wofford and then just keep that grind for the next 4 weeks, just to in that mindset of just staying focused?
That's what I'm here for. I mean, that's part of it. You win, you lose, play good, you don't play good. It's part of it. It's part of the ups and downs. It's a game of lessons. So you go out, you lose a game. Okay, well, what did we do wrong? What didn't we do good? What could we have done better? What did we do right that we should have did more of? All those things. And you look back on it, you move on because there's another game to play on Saturday. There's another opponent to prepare for. You go throughout the week getting ready for these games on Saturday, so it doesn't really end. You can't really dwell on it, worry about it. You kind of just, in a sense, let it go and move on because you don't have time to worry about what happened yesterday.
You mentioned to me after the Wofford game that football was like a game of war. How do you feel like that war is going right now?
Not what we planned, honestly. Not what the coaches planned, not what the players planned, not what the fans planned. It hasn't been what we said it was going to be. It hasn't been what we worked for it to be. But that there's good in that too, though. It builds character. It shows you who you really are as a person, as a team, as a coach, and then as a fan base. Things went bad and everybody turned their back on us. But the people that didn't turn their back were the people in that locker room and these coaches that are making us, better. And that's really what matters at the end of the day. But something like that happening shows you, who's really there, who's really wanting to benefit us, benefit our team. Because like I said, we still have games to play. We still have a season to finish. And, we still have a lot of opportunities to play for.
How bummed were you to have your toe on the stripe on that catch last week?
I was very bummed. I like to view myself as a guy that can make extravagant catches and plays and all those things. That was that was a little heartbreaking because that was a hell of a catch.
You think you had it at first? I mean, I'm assuming you're not looking
I
down at your
did,
feet when it
I
happened.
did, and in that particular moment, which I'd never do this, but it was kind of, the play was a little bit out of whack. Kyron had pressure, so he wasn't able to get the ball out on time. And it was kind of just, I'm looking at the ball coming, and me and the dude are right next to each other, and I'm looking at the ball, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a tough catch, which I'm built for it. I'm made for it. That's, who I am and what I do. But I was looking at the ball coming, and I took my eyes off the ball, and I looked at him to see, like, how much distance I had. And I looked back up at the ball, and at that point, I had started, shifting towards the sideline because of where the ball was going. And I kind of lost sense of where I was at on the field. Granted, I wasn't out by a yard or so, but it happens. It'll come back to me.
Do you practice those one-handed catches in practice out here? Is that something you
No.
drills with or anything? Or
No.
is it just kinda,
No.
yeah.
You go anywhere across the country and you hear coaches say 2 hands on the ball, put 2 hands on the ball, whatever. But it's kind of funny because my friends ask me because I'm a regular person outside of what I do on the field. Nothing special, nothing different. I go home, I play video games, I hang out, I do all that kind of stuff. My friends always ask me how do you do it? And I'm like, I work very hard. I train. I do all the preparation necessary. But when you step on those white lines, it's kind of almost like something else takes over, and you do spectacular things that you're like, you look back on and you're like, wow, like I did that, like wow, that was awesome. I can't believe I made that play. And there's a little bit of both sides to it. I worked for it, I prepared for it, but I still amaze myself sometimes too. But no, to answer your question, I don't work on catching the ball with one hand. It kind of just happens. It's one of those things where, especially in a game, defenders are really handsy nowadays. At the top of your routes, deep down the field, refs are horrible at making the calls within that. But you got to create separation, because this much separation can go a long way when it comes to catching a ball on a defender. So it's kind of just something that I do. But no, I don't really work on it. I work on one-handed catches, but it's not my goal going into catching a pass from KD.
One or two more.
How would you assess how you've grown as a receiver this year, and what do you want to do and grow over the second half of the season?
I think I've taken a lot of steps in the right direction each week. I want to win. That's my first and main goal. I feel like I deserve it. I feel like my team deserves it. I feel like I've grown a lot, just in my confidence level, my skill set, and then my leadership. Like if you were to ask me 2 years ago, would I be in the position I'm in now? Like I wouldn't feel very confident in saying that. But I put my head down. I worked. I didn't really worry about it. I didn't let it, fog my brain or anything. I feel like I've did what I needed to do up until this point, but from a scale of winning, it obviously isn't enough. So, this back end, like I said, we have a lot of good opponents to play and a lot of good opportunities that I plan on taking advantage of. I'm a gamer. I like the game. I like to play. And when I get in those scenarios, I flip a switch and I turn into the player that I need to be when it comes game time. So for the rest of the season, I just plan on capitalizing on the opportunities and trying to be the best receiver I can be each week, and showcasing my abilities and who I am for this team and then nationwide. Because I feel like you play good opponents and you show out, you feel better about it yourself, and then you get your name out there more when it comes to going to the next level and all those types of things.